Hey you guys, so I asked what you wanted to see on Twitter. These lights are so bright. Oh my gosh. Okay, so first and foremost, I noticed in the comments you guys were saying that my lighting was kind of off and was looking a little crazy and it was hard for you guys to see certain details and stuff. So I did get new lighting. I have my soft boxes now, and then I'm also just waiting on a ring light to come in, and I got a new lens as well, so hopefully that helps with details and stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think about the video quality in the bottom, and if it still needs tweaking, then I'll learn some more tricks. So I asked you guys on Twitter what you wanted to see today, and a lot of you were asking how I do my skin focus looks. So like that's usually kind of lighter coverage foundation where you can still see freckles and stuff like that, while still having like good coverage and, you know, covering up like under eye circles and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're gonna do today. So for any of my makeup, I always start by moisturizing, of course, but when I'm doing skin focus especially, and just usually like once or twice a week, I will exfoliate my skin. So what I like to do is I'll take a warm washcloth, not hot water, just warm, and I'll just lay it on my face for a little bit and just kind of let my skin get nice and warm and soft. And then what I do is, I usually exfoliate my skin. So I take a little bit of the ocean salt from Lush. This is a really intense exfoliant for me, so I don't use it super often, like I said, once or twice a week max. And I will just super gently just take a little bit of this, put it on different parts of my face, and just really, really gently exfoliate using warm water again to kind of like tone it down a little bit. You don't want to use this raw or just straight on your face. So I'll do that, and then after I'm done exfoliating, I wash my face off, make sure it's cleansed, warm water and all that. And then I will moisturize. So the two moisturizers I've been using recently have been the Shua Mera one, as you guys know, in a little jar one. I absolutely love this moisturizer. It's really heavy and it just literally makes my skin feel so soft and smooth, and like I'm loving it. I'm almost done and I will be picking this up again. So the Shua Mera one. And then for my eye cream, I have been using La Mer. Is it worth the price tag? I don't really know. I don't experience a lot of wrinkles or fine lines or anything like that around my eye area, so it's not like I'm blown away every time I use it. It feels nice. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth the price tag. I can't really like quote you on that right now, so I'll get back to you in 20 years. Those little things up there. Precious. Okay, so when it comes to kind of light coverage foundation, don't worry, you don't need to go out and pick up a new foundation. What you can do is take your regular coverage foundation and you can mix it with moisturizer. Some people like to mix it with primer, and you can kind of shear it out and it'll be almost like more of a BB cream formula. So moisturize like normal, and then you can kind of like cut it maybe half and half, or a quarter moisturizer and like 75% foundation, and just kind of see like what your perfect mix is and do it like that. I'm going to be using some foundations that are a little bit sheer coverage anyways, in my opinion. So I'm going to be using the Benefit Hello Flawless. Get the logo going there. And then I'm going to be mixing it with a little bit of my YSL Touche Eclat, and I am using this one because the color is pretty close to my skin tone, and I'm just adding a little touch of this one to darken it up. So yeah. I'm going to be taking my buffer brush from Zoeva. This is the 102 Silk Finish, and I'm going to take the hair off of it. And downward strokes all over the face. And then I'm going to dab it. And you guys know, I'm always like, oh yeah, I'm just going to pat my foundation on. I'm just going to pat this on. You guys know why I do this. When you are applying foundation, if you're kind of just like swiping it on, kind of just like going like this, you're not going to get good coverage. It's not going to stay where you want it to stay. You're going to get brush strokes. When you kind of dab it on like this, number one, it's keeping the product where you want it to be. So basically, instead of swiping it all over your face and kind of like having to go in and do a bunch of layers to build up that coverage, you're just keeping the coverage right where you want it. So I like to apply my little downward strokes first to kind of get an even coverage, and then I go in and I dab to just build up that coverage a little bit more. And when I'm going around my nose and stuff like that, I usually just kind of like close my mouth like this and make sure that I can get into those little crevices. Don't want any parts being left out. We don't leave any family behind. Do you feel me? And just getting into my hairline there. People hate this in my photos. They're like, oh my god, it's so bronzy around your hairline. But it's because like if I don't, I have this like white halo and then my foundation oxidizes and it's like, sup, what's going on, baby? Now you have this orange face and this white halo going on. No, I don't like that. So I gotta go onto my hairline. And I'm gonna go down my neck a little bit. So a lot of people are like, oh, I can't do light coverage because I have really bad skin and blah, 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 blah. There are ways to make your foundation look more natural and skin-like without compromising the coverage. Like if you do have kind of acne spots or scarring or freckles that maybe you don't like, but you should like them, there are ways to do that. The number one way that I think it looks more natural is if you don't matte out your skin. Some people just like, they really like that like super matte look, which is totally fine. It looks gorgeous. But I think that the dewier that it looks, it's gonna look a little bit more natural and like close to your skin. So I said in a previous dewy skin video, if you do have oily skin but you want your skin to look a little bit more natural and kind of dewy, powder specific places. So powder kind of like right along the jawline, around the temples of the forehead, but just like leave certain areas a little bit like unpowdered so that they can just get a little bit dewier throughout the day. So like the tops of your cheekbones and stuff like that are a big one. Like as long as that part looks nice and dewy, and honestly the forehead a little bit too. I know people are like, oh god, I do not want a like freaking shiny forehead, but like it just looks so pretty. So yeah, in my personal preference, I really like when like tops of the cheeks are left unpowdered so that they can just be a little bit dewier. And then that way you don't have to sacrifice that full coverage and you still have a little bit of that sheen so it looks a little more natural. So if you're not down with light coverage foundation, that's what I would suggest. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my little beauty blender that I have wet, and I'm just gonna kind of go over that foundation and just pick up any excess product. And I'm gonna really pick up the product anywhere where my foundation tends to settle into fine lines. So for me, that's around my mouth, my smile line that I get, and then between my brows, they're a bad one, and then my forehead a little bit. So I'm just picking up the excess product. This is gonna compromise your coverage a little bit, but we are going for a more natural look, so that's okay. And then just right around my nose too, because I hate when I get like these really like intense, like it just goes right into my nose and it's just like, what's up? I'm like a massive glob of foundation. I'm just chilling. I'm not down with that. That's not happening. I'm gonna take my Nars Creamy Radiant Concealer. This is in the shade Custard, and it's a little bit lighter than my skin tone, not by much. So I'm just gonna take that and dot it underneath. For this kind of look, I typically, well, I never really do the whole like triangle thing all that often, but for this kind of look, I typically don't do like the intense like highlighted triangle deal. If that's what you like, go hard. For me personally, I like it to be just a little bit more natural looking, so I don't pull my concealer down quite that far when I'm doing this kind of deal. And then I'm going to take my Makeup Addiction Chiseler brush, not the Cheeseler. And again, I'm just dabbing it instead of swiping it, keeping that coverage where we want it. So we're just making sure to get right up to that lash line. When you're doing skin focus, you want to make sure that you're not leaving any bits out, and I find that that's kind of a big one. People tend to like conceal really quickly and they're just like, oh, and then it's like they kind of have this little red line right by their lash line, because we all have like a little bit of discoloration there, whether it's kind of like more of a purple tone or a red. And yeah, so just make sure that you kind of like move your brush right up there. If you need to use a smaller brush than this, or even your fingers if you don't have claws on the end of your hand, you can totally do that. And that's just really gonna help you from looking tired and like kind of sick, unless you're into that, in which case go hard. So yeah, just adding a little bit of that concealer, and then you can take your concealer and kind of go in, conceal any spots, just do spot concealing. That's the other thing, is if you do have just kind of overall redness with maybe just like a little bit of like acne spots or whatever it may be here and there, try not going for a fuller coverage foundation. Try going for a little bit lighter coverage, or like I said, cutting it with moisturizer and spot concealing instead. A lot of people do this super thick, heavy coverage when really like they only have like 1 or 2 spots on their face. You don't necessarily need that unless you like the look, then go hard. But like if you want to try a fuller coverage foundation, it's kind of fun. and you can just go in and spot conceal instead of using that heavy coverage all over where you don't really need it. I'm just getting in a little bit closer because what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to add in fake freckles. So let me show you how I do that. I have here 2 different colors of eyebrow markers, and a lot of people do this in different ways. Sometimes people speckle it on with a brush. So basically like you wet your brush with a color and you kind of just like speckle it on. You can do it with a toothbrush or a regular brush or whatever. I like to do this because I like to kind of be able to select where I want my freckles. And typically what I do is I do it like kind of across my cheeks, my nose a lot, and then I like onto the other cheek. So the reason why I have 2 different colors is because your freckles are not going to be perfectly like all these same colors, and they're just like going to be perfect and uniform and perfectly circular. They're 2 different colors, and they also kind of like go in different darknesses. So yeah, I'm going to take my first one. This is the NYX eyebrow marker in medium. And what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to dot this on. It's not going to look like much at first, but you just keep kind of like continually dotting it on randomly. Just kind of randomly dotting it on. I'll fill in my beauty mark while I'm at it. If you get one that's like really intense like that, you can literally just kind of like dot it away with your finger. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry that there's always sirens outside of my house, okay? It sounds like GTA 5, I know. But it's just, it is what it is. I live in the city. And I like to do this underneath my blush and highlight and stuff like that because it just makes it look a little more natural. Holy crap. Don't know how to act right. So yeah, I like to do this over top of my foundation so that it's not wiped away, but underneath my blush, highlight, and contour so that it looks a little bit more natural. It's kind of like concealed almost in a way. So it just kind of looks like you have these nice faint freckles coming through. So I'm gonna go in with my second color, which is the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Brow Color in medium as well. And this is kind of like a more ashy tone almost. And again, I'm just gonna add them in. If you use different pressures, you'll get kind of different sizes of freckles, so try doing that a little bit too, like press a little bit harder and you'll get a larger freckle and a darker one. And you can do these kind of as intense or as light as you want them to be. I don't know how well they're gonna kind of translate on camera, but that is how I do my fake freckling. It looks so cute in photos and in person, and I love it for summer. And it's another great way to kind of add texture back into your skin, especially if you do like the fuller coverage foundations and stuff. It just kind of adds a little bit more dimension into your skin and it looks a little more natural while still being fake. I'm going to go in now with my highlighter, and I'm going to be using the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone. Oh, or do I want to use Opal? I think I want to use Moonstone. So I'm going to be taking that super lightly on my Zoeva 114 Luxe Face Focus brush. It looks like this. And I'm just going to take it kind of on the side of the brush, and I'm just going to add that. I'm literally going to dot it on first, and then just kind of like gently massage it into my face. I just want to add the tiniest bit. Oh, it's not going to end up being tiny. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just adding a little bit onto my face. You guys know that I like to be super glowy, and especially when I'm doing my skin focus stuff, I love it to just be really highlighted and just pretty and wonderful. Liquid highlighters are stunning on skin focus. The reason why I'm not doing it right now is because I did put my fake freckles on and I don't want to mess them up. Ugh, I'm gonna add a little bit here too. Literally like the smallest amount ever right here. You don't want it to be too much because it looks really crazy if you add too much. So I'm gonna add it on there. And then, oh my god, I love that. I wish that I could just keep it like that, but I can't. Everyone would be like, you're so crazy. Oh my god. What do you do, Sam? I'm gonna take it down a little bit. So I'm gonna take my beauty blender. I'm gonna take my beauty blender and I'm just gonna kind of dab that away a little bit, but I'm keeping a little bit of that shine. Oh, damn girl. Let's contour. Okay, so I'm going to contour with a little bit of these new bronzers. I think they're new, from Makeup Forever, and this is in the shade 20M, I believe. And I'm going to dab that onto my Nars Ita brush, and I'm just going to start to really gently apply that underneath my cheekbones. And I don't want this to be too intense. You guys know I normally love like a really intense contour, but I'm just gonna do it a little bit lighter so that it's not anything too crazy. And around the temples as well. So for my blush, I'm gonna be using my Milani Luminoso. we'll just bring that up from the bottom. And yeah, I'm just going to put it kind of on the apples of the cheek and blend it into my contour as per the usual. So just putting it right on the apples and bringing it back. Again, I'm not trying to do this like super intense. We just want a little bit of a nice blush in there, just to kind of tie this together. So this is pretty much where I leave it whenever I'm doing my kind of skin focused stuff. I typically don't powder at this point, but like I said earlier, if you do have oilier skin, you might choose to kind of have specific placement of where you powder, or you might choose to powder all over. Whatever you like, whatever you think looks best for you, then totally. Yeah, but this is what I do, and it's pretty much just, it's a little bit lighter coverage, so you will kind of see like a little bit of like imperfections in your skin, but I just think that it looks beautiful, and I really dig it. It goes so well with kind of anything that you want to do. So if you just want to like curl your lashes and wear mascara, or if you want to do like intense, like we gonna party tonight eyes, then like it looks beautiful with that as well. So yeah, I hope you guys like it. I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup, and maybe I'll film a tutorial of the makeup I do. We'll see, no promises. But anyways, I'll show you guys the finished look regardless. So there you go. So this is my finished look with my eyes done and everything. I chose to pair it with a little bit of a heavier eye just to kind of show you guys that you can kind of do it with, you know, a more chillin' eye or with something more dramatic like this. So yeah, and I did film a tutorial for these eyes, so keep your eyes peeled for that. So that is my finished skin focused tutorial. I hope you guys like it and learned something cool today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and what some of your favorite lighter coverage foundations are, and what you guys like to see next. Okay, bye.